I'm Jenni Zabel, and full disclosure, my hands are sweating, but I can't wipe them on my pants because they're like spandex. So if you see me like or if I drop this thing, you know why. Well, it's been said that perfectionism is a 2010 shield that people lug around trying to hide behind, when in fact, it's actually the thing that is keeping them from being seen. And I've lugged that shield of perfectionism for as long as I can remember. Whether in my surroundings, is everything perfectly in its place? Is it neat? Is it tidy? Is it perfectly decorated? Or my physical appearance. Am I thin enough? Am I physically fit enough? Do I look put together enough, even in these tight pants? Or my work. As a child, that would have been schoolwork, grades. Trickled into adulthood, my job performance. It's even affected my roles as a wife and as a mother. And surprisingly, my walk with Christ. Am I keeping God's commands closely enough? Well, truthfully, I really feel like perfectionism has robbed me of so much joy. It's left me feeling anxious, stressed out, overly critical of other people and myself, and honestly downright difficult to please. It's affected my relationships negatively as I've chosen perfection over the feelings and the emotions of those that I hold dear. And so God has slowly sanctified me and helped me to lower that shield further and further. And He's kind of helped me to see there are really four main roots to perfectionism. The first one is self-justification. I can derive my value based on what I'm able to perform or achieve, instead of my intrinsic value in just being an image bearer of God Almighty. Number two is a need for control. If I can control my environment and my surroundings, I can create for myself a sense of peace, a false sense of peace. Only Jesus and abiding in Him is true peace, not our circumstances. I also can control other people's perceptions of me. Does what they see warrant their approval, their acceptance, or even their adoration of me? Number three is the need for praise. I found out if I perform well, I will receive some praise. And that will help to overshadow this constant sense of shame that I carry because I'm unable to attain the crushing impossible standards I've placed upon myself. I can't do it. And so then I feel like I'm in this constant state of failure. And that is not a fun place to be. And so that leans back to the criticism and all of those things that we've talked about before. Number four is idolatry. And I really hate to admit this one, but there have been times that I've elevated perfectionism and perfection of my surroundings over my sweet Jesus. One of the biggest things that God has used to deliver me from the bondage of perfection is our 6 precious daughters. And yes, I said 6. And yes, they are all girls. So you can pray for my husband. He's really a well-loved man. But how many of you know it's pretty difficult to keep a perfect household with small children? You've probably heard the term that cleaning your house with small kids is kind of like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos at the same time. It's impossible, people, right? I mean, it's like impossible. Also, let's not mention my physical appearance. At any moment, it's shocking, I don't have it now, there could be snot, there could be spit up, there could be graham cracker, crumbs, you name it, it's disgusting. And then I shouldn't even address the radical transformation my body has been through over the last 11 years carrying 6 babies. So God has just really helped me to see that as I seek perfection as a Christian, I'm really negating the work of Christ on the cross for me by saying that, Jesus, your grace is sufficient for everyone in here. It's just not sufficient for me. So I have to earn my way to your grace. And that's just not true, right? Right. Okay, so I have a couple verses. I've gotten ahead of myself. But I really want you to hear this. Galatians 2:20 through 21. My old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not treat the grace of God as meaningless. For if keeping the law or maintaining perfection make us right with God, then there was no need for Christ to die. And that's just not the truth either. So now, because of God's work in my life, I'm working to pursue excellence, not perfection. Because instead of saying, look at me, I'm so good, I say, look at God. He is so good in me. Taking the focus off of myself and putting it on Jesus, where it belongs. So I'm going to leave you with this verse, Colossians 3:23-24. Whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart, as for working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Thank you.